Something is changing inside you, and it's happening faster than you realize. There are moments in life when you feel a quiet shift, almost like something unseen is rearranging your path. You can't fully explain it, but you feel it. The way you think is different. The way you react is different. Even the things that once excited you no longer hold the same power. Have you noticed that? It's not random. It's not coincidence. It's a transformation. At first, it feels subtle. You begin questioning things you once accepted without hesitation. You start pulling away from noise, from distractions, from people who drain your energy. And maybe, for a while, it feels lonely. You might even wonder if something is wrong with you. Why do I feel so disconnected? Why can't I go back to who I used to be? But what if this isn't loss? What if it's elevation? Growth rarely feels comfortable. In fact, real transformation often feels like confusion before it feels like clarity. You're shedding old patterns, old habits, old versions of yourself that no longer align with who you are becoming. And that process? It can feel like everything is falling apart. But look closer. Is everything really falling apart, or is everything finally falling into place? Think about the version of you from a few years ago. The mindset, the priorities, the fears. Would that version recognize who you are today? And now ask yourself something deeper. Will the version of you 1 year from now recognize who you are today? Because the truth is, you are not meant to stay the same. There is a version of you forming right now, stronger, wiser, more aware. A version that doesn't seek constant validation. A version that understands silence is sometimes more powerful than words. A version that sees through illusions and chooses truth, even when it's uncomfortable. And this is where many people get stuck. They feel the change, but they resist it. They try to hold on to what's familiar, even when it no longer serves them. They go back to old environments, old conversations, old mindsets, hoping to feel like themselves again. But here's the reality. You're not supposed to feel like your old self anymore. You're evolving beyond that. That discomfort you feel. It's a sign. That sense of being out of place. It's a signal. You are stepping into a new level of awareness, and with that comes a shift in identity. But transformation doesn't announce itself loudly. It doesn't come with clear instructions or guarantees. It happens quietly, in the decisions you make every day, in the moments where you choose patience over reaction, in the times you walk away instead of engaging, in the discipline you build when no one is watching. So ask yourself this. Are you ready to become someone you've never been before? Because the path you're on right now is not leading you back to who you were. It's leading you somewhere unfamiliar, somewhere higher. And soon, very soon, you may look at your own life and realize something powerful. You didn't just change. You became someone you once couldn't even imagine. Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt like the reflection staring back at you isn't quite you? Not because your appearance has changed, but because something deeper is shifting inside. That feeling, subtle at first, signals the emergence of a new version of yourself, a version you have yet to fully understand. It's unsettling, yes, but it's also necessary. Without discomfort, growth cannot take root. Without challenge, transformation cannot unfold. Consider how life often works in cycles. We encounter experiences that test our patience, our values, our courage. At times, these tests feel unfair, even cruel. Yet within these moments lies a hidden purpose. The very struggles that seem to hold us back are the ones that push us forward. They force us to confront our limitations, to question assumptions, and to rethink the way we interact with the world. And through this reflection, the blueprint of a stronger, more conscious self begins to form. What does it mean to truly become the chosen version of yourself? It isn't about status, wealth, or recognition. It isn't about proving yourself to others. It's about clarity, clarity of thought, clarity of action, clarity of intention. It's about recognizing the patterns in your life that no longer serve you and having the courage to step away from them. It's about aligning your decisions with a vision of yourself that feels authentic, even if others fail to understand it. Many people mistake this process for isolation. They fear the distance it creates from friends, routines, or environments that once defined them. But evolution often requires solitude. Reflection requires space. To move toward a higher self, you must sometimes walk alone. And in that solitude, you discover not emptiness, but freedom. Freedom to define yourself, freedom to rise above influences that cloud your judgment, freedom to see possibilities that were invisible before. Ask yourself, who are you becoming in those quiet, unobserved moments? When no one is watching, what choices are you making? Are you choosing ease over truth, convenience over growth? Or are you embracing the discomfort, knowing it is the vehicle for transformation? Because the reality is that your highest potential is rarely reached in comfort. It is forged in the crucible of challenge, trial, and reflection. And then there's the question of timing. Transformation doesn't follow a schedule. It doesn't announce itself in clear milestones. You may not recognize the shift until you look back months or even years later. That's why patience is essential. That's why trusting the process, even when it feels confusing, is critical. Every moment you feel uncertainty, every moment you question your path, you are actually moving closer to the person you are meant to become. Imagine the version of yourself that can face life with unwavering focus, deep understanding, and resilient courage. That version is not a fantasy. It exists within you now, quietly growing, quietly preparing to emerge. The only question is, are you willing to let go of who you were in order to embrace who you are becoming? Because one day, not far from now, you will look around and realize the change is complete. You will see your own reflection and recognize something extraordinary. It won't just be growth you see. It will be transformation, a version of yourself that feels both familiar and astonishingly new. And when that moment comes, you will understand that everything you endured, everything you questioned, every quiet choice you made, led you here, to a self that is ready, aware, and undeniably alive. Have you noticed how life seems to accelerate when you're on the edge of transformation? Days feel shorter, events feel more intense, and even ordinary moments carry a weight you can't ignore. It's as if the universe, or perhaps life itself, is gently urging you to pay attention, to awaken, to step into a reality that demands more of you. And yet, most people pass through these moments without noticing. They cling to old habits, familiar routines, or comforting illusions, missing the profound shift unfolding just beneath the surface. But you are different. You feel it. That quiet stirring, that tension between who you were and who you are becoming, cannot be ignored. It appears in subtle ways, a sudden clarity during reflection, a pang of dissatisfaction with old patterns, or an inexplicable pull towards something greater. These are not coincidences, they are signals. The world is not changing you, you are changing yourself, one choice at a time. Transformation is rarely instantaneous. It is incremental, almost invisible at first. A decision here, a small act of discipline there, a moment of honesty when you could have lied, a pause when you could have reacted impulsively, all these build upon one another, shaping a version of you that is unfamiliar, yet undeniably authentic. You may not see the full picture yet, but each step matters. Each moment contributes to the emergence of a self that will one day surprise even you. What is it about change that feels so terrifying? Perhaps it is the uncertainty. Perhaps it is the fear of leaving behind comfort, familiarity, or the identity you have known for years. And yet, fear is precisely the compass that points toward growth. The edge of fear is the edge of transformation. The discomfort you feel is not a sign to retreat, it is a sign to move forward. Think of it this way. Every version of yourself that you leave behind is like a shed skin. It once served a purpose, but it no longer fits. Holding on to it keeps you confined, limited, and less than your potential. Letting it go is not loss, it is liberation. And liberation is the doorway to the chosen version of yourself, the one capable of seeing opportunities where others see obstacles, of finding clarity amidst confusion, of remaining steadfast when chaos surrounds. But becoming this version is not a passive process. It requires awareness, discipline, and intentional action. It requires asking yourself difficult questions. Am I living authentically? Am I making choices that align with my highest potential? Am I brave enough to confront the parts of myself I have ignored or denied? These questions may unsettle you, but they are the gateway to transformation. And here is an essential truth. Transformation is not about perfection. It is about evolution. It is about progress, not flawlessness. Every step forward, every small act of courage, every choice made in alignment with truth builds momentum. And momentum, once established, cannot be reversed. Soon, you will look around and notice the difference. You will feel a confidence that wasn't there before. You will act with a calm certainty that surprises even you. You will realize that the person you once were, the version of you that clung to safety, certainty, and ease, has been replaced by someone stronger, wiser, and quietly unstoppable. And when that realization arrives, it will be unmistakable. You have become someone who no longer fits into the world you once knew. You are stepping into a new reality, a new life, and a new self, one that is ready to meet whatever challenges and opportunities lie ahead with clarity, courage, and purpose. Now, as this transformation reaches its peak, you begin to notice subtle yet profound shifts in the way you experience life. Ordinary moments feel richer, decisions carry weight and clarity, and the people and situations around you seem to respond differently. It's not magic, it's not luck. It is the natural consequence of evolving into a version of yourself that operates from awareness rather than habit, from purpose rather than inertia. Have you felt that shift? That quiet but undeniable difference in how the world unfolds before you? This stage of change is both exhilarating and humbling. Exhilarating because you recognize the vast potential within yourself, the strength you once doubted, and the resilience you have quietly developed. Humbling because you realize how much of life was previously lived unconsciously, how much time was spent following patterns that no longer serve your growth. And yet, both feelings are necessary. They anchor you in reality while propelling you toward possibility. Ask yourself, what does it truly mean to become your highest self? Is it wealth, fame, or recognition? No. It is the ability to live with integrity, to make decisions aligned with your principles, to act with courage even when fear whispers. It is to cultivate wisdom and compassion without attachment or expectation. It is to embrace change, not as a challenge to resist, but as a force that guides you to the life you are meant to inhabit. By now, the old version of yourself is no longer your point of reference. You have begun to see life through a lens of discernment, noticing opportunities and pitfalls that would have gone unseen before. The relationships that once seemed vital may now feel draining. The routines that offered comfort may now feel confining, and the choices that once seemed easy may now feel shallow. This is the signature of growth. Nothing feels the same, and nothing should. Transformation, ultimately, is an invitation. It calls you to step into a reality that matches the depth of your potential. It asks you to leave behind fear, doubt, and attachment to outdated identities. It challenges you to live consciously, to act intentionally, and to cultivate a presence that is fully engaged with the world. And the remarkable truth is that the more you embrace this process, the more effortless it becomes. Strength, clarity, and focus are not forced. They emerge naturally as a reflection of your alignment with your truest self. Consider this: the person you are becoming is not a distant dream or a hypothetical ideal. That version exists within you now, quietly observing, patiently waiting, and ready to emerge fully. All that is required is courage. Courage to release what no longer serves you. Courage to embrace uncertainty. Courage to trust that each step, no matter how small, brings you closer to who you are meant to be. And one day, you will recognize yourself. Not in the reflection of who you were, but in the reality of who you have become. The doubts, the fears, the hesitations, they will be memories of a past you have outgrown. In their place will be presence, purpose, and an unmistakable clarity. You will understand, finally, that every challenge, every moment of uncertainty, every decision to step forward instead of retreating, has led to this emergence. You are no longer merely a participant in life. You are a conscious architect of your own journey, a chosen version of yourself, fully awakened, fully aware, and undeniably transformed. Even after the transformation feels complete, life will continue to test the new version of you. Change is not a destination, it is a continuous process. The person you have become is stronger, wiser, and more aware, but growth does not stop, it evolves. Every day presents new choices, new challenges, and new opportunities to align with this higher version of yourself. Have you considered how your everyday decisions now carry more weight than ever before? Each action, each interaction, each moment of reflection either reinforces your growth or allows old patterns to resurface. This is where awareness becomes your greatest ally. Being conscious of your thoughts, your intentions, and your behaviors is no longer optional. It is essential. You have learned to discern, to pause before reacting, and to act with intentionality rather than impulse. This discipline is not restrictive, it is liberating. It allows you to navigate life with precision, to prioritize what truly matters, and to protect the energy that sustains your continued evolution. At this stage, the world itself may feel different. People, places, and situations that once held meaning may fade into the background, replaced by experiences and relationships that resonate with your higher self. This is not rejection, it is refinement. Life naturally aligns with those who evolve, and as you continue to raise your awareness and embrace change, you begin attracting circumstances that mirror your growth. Yet, transformation is not just personal, it is relational. The way you relate to others shifts as well. You engage with greater empathy, deeper understanding, and stronger boundaries. You no longer tolerate negativity or distraction that hinders your journey. And at the same time, you inspire those around you, not by preaching or instructing, but simply by being a living example of conscious change. People notice authenticity, even when it is quiet, and your presence alone can create ripples that extend far beyond your immediate experience. Ask yourself, Are you ready to fully inhabit this version of yourself? To live without excuses, without compromise, and without reverting to old patterns. To embrace the responsibilities that come with awareness, the responsibility to act with integrity, to make choices that honor your growth, and to engage with the world in ways that reflect your highest potential. The answer to these questions determines how fully your transformation can take root and flourish. And remember, even as you ascend, humility remains vital. True growth is not about superiority or comparison. It is about alignment, clarity, and purpose. It is about understanding your own strengths and limitations, your potential, and your responsibilities without arrogance or attachment. The chosen version of yourself does not seek validation from others because it is secure in its own alignment and aware of the journey that brought it here. Finally, reflect on the bigger picture. Every challenge you faced, every fear you overcame, every moment of doubt you endured, all contributed to the emergence of this self. You are the culmination of choices made in awareness, courage, and persistence. You are no longer merely existing. You are consciously living, consciously creating, and consciously evolving. In the end, this is the ultimate realization. The chosen one is not defined by external recognition or fleeting achievements. The chosen one is defined by transformation, the quiet, steady, and unyielding process of becoming a self that is authentic, resilient, and fully awake to the possibilities of life. And that self, now awakened, will continue to evolve far beyond what you can imagine today.